What's up everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia and I share new videos every single week related to cleaning, organizing, home decor, and lifestyle. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and make sure your bell notifications are turned on. Today is the second video in my 2021 fall decorating series, and I'm going to be sharing a fall decor idea on a budget. I'm going to be sharing how to make a do-it-yourself sign step by step because we are in the fall spirit over here and I cannot wait any longer. This is going to be a DIY homemade farmhouse fall sign, but you can certainly copy these steps and make a sign for any season or holiday. I also want to start out by saying that you do not need a Cricut machine to make these signs that I'm sharing today. I repeat, you do not need a Cricut machine. I personally will be using one just because I have it available, and I know some of you watching will also have a Cricut, but have no fear. I will be sharing how to achieve this sign without one, so make sure to stay tuned. There are so many options when it comes to creating a do-it-yourself farmhouse fall sign. When I was planning out my fall decor for the year, I found myself gravitating towards these beautiful wooden signs, but you know just as well as I do that they are not always cheap, and I just could not justify spending that much money on something that was only going to be out for maybe a month or two. So I decided to head over to Pinterest to get some ideas and figure out ways I could do this for a lot cheaper. And you're in luck because I wanted to share this entire process with you all so that you can achieve this same look on a budget. Now to get started, always check the back of your sign first because sometimes they will come with like screws that you can just take the back off, and that way you don't have to worry about getting paint on your frame. Unfortunately, the one today that I'm going to be painting, it cannot be removed, so what I'm going to do is just tape up the edges with painter's tape to help protect it. Now, as far as the signs go, I went to Hobby Lobby when they had their wooden signs on sale, 50% off, and I did buy this larger one. I did end up painting it to achieve the look and style that I was going for, and then I also picked up this smaller one. They can be pretty spendy full price, so I do recommend waiting until they are on sale. However, if you are impatient like me and you hate waiting for things to go on sale and you just want something right away, I do have a quick little hack for you. So summer is ending, which means the stores are starting to discount all of the summer decor items, and ding, 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 look for wooden signs. Even if you don't like the pattern or the saying or the quote on them, I ended up finding this one at Michael's and it was discounted 70%. Yes, 70% off, and the frame couldn't have been more perfect for a farmhouse fall sign. I obviously am going to cover the middle section, so it didn't matter to me what was on it. Also, if you have an old sign laying around your house, you can use that. Be creative. If you have a flat piece of wood, use that, and maybe make yourself a frame if you're very handy. There are so many options for any kind of budget. When I was planning to do some do-it-yourself wooden fall signs, I loved the look of the vintage green chalkboard, but every video that I watched, no one mentioned what paint they used or where they bought it. There were also not that many videos on it that used the vintage green chalk paint. I tried messaging some people on Instagram, commented on a few videos, and no one really ever got back to me, which was a little frustrating because there are so many different paints and colors to choose from. Luckily for you all, I will be linking everything down below in the description box. So if you are wanting this exact green chalkboard look, you don't have to worry. I have this exact color linked down below. The paint, I will say, did go on a little bit lighter than I expected, but when it dried, it was like the perfect shade of green. So I highly recommend this paint. You will also need a paintbrush of some sorts. I don't think it really matters. I really like the sponge brushes for this kind of project. I did also have some smaller ones on hand and also a finer paintbrush just for any like touch-ups or to use on the paint on the letters. I think my biggest tip here when painting is to do a nice thin layer first and then do a second coat if needed. It's really easy to start caking on the paint, so take it layer by layer. It is okay if you can still see the picture through the first layer or the quote or the words, whatever you're painting over. Just make sure to let it dry completely and then do another layer. I just wanted to remind you all to take a second and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Fall is my favorite season, and I just love sharing lots of fun do-it-yourself projects, cleaning, and of course, decorating content. My first fall video went up on Monday, and I shared a huge fall decor haul and fall decorating inspiration. So if you haven't yet seen that video, I will have it linked up here in the cards as well as down below in the description box. But just make sure you are subscribed and have your bell notifications turned on, because my fall clean and decorate videos will be going up within the next week, and I don't want you to miss out. All right, so now it's time to prepare our design. And if you have a Cricut machine, I'm gonna go ahead and go through those steps first. And if you don't have access to a Cricut, please just keep on watching. I promise I will be sharing very soon what you guys can do. This Cricut machine is actually my sister's, unfortunately. Marshall and I gifted it to her for Christmas this last year, and she is just letting us borrow it for the time being. I love her, but when I was looking up different signs on Pinterest, I ended up just kind of creating my own. I definitely used Pinterest as an inspiration, but I did create the sayings, pictures, fonts, layouts of exactly what I wanted my signs to look like. I then made sure to measure out my sign and make sure to grab the correct Cricut map. For vinyl. Now, vinyl can be pretty expensive, but have no fear. I did my research and I found this vinyl on Amazon, which is 12 by 120 feet. So I got a couple of those plus transfer tape, and it was like $11 each. I bought the bright orange color because, well, for one, I'm using it just as a stencil and not an actual sticker, so to me it didn't matter what color I used. And also two, the bright orange was a little bit cheaper than the classic black or white. I'm assuming because it's not as popular. But again, everything that I mentioned in today's video, I will do my best to link down below in the description box. While the Cricut is cutting out my stencil, I'm going to go ahead and share with you what you can do to achieve this fall do-it-yourself wooden farmhouse sign without using a Cricut. So I didn't have a Cricut for the longest time, and I guess technically I still don't. This is my sister's. I will have to give it back to her. And I know Cricut machines are around $200, so I understand that not everyone can go out and just buy one. What you need to do is go on Etsy and search for something like fall sign stencils. There are so many options to choose from, and this is what I was originally gonna do. There are pros and cons to both options, and having a Cricut does allow you to create whatever design you want, customize it whatever way you want. However, buying a stencil straight off of Etsy is a lot less work because the stencil will ship right to your door. You can stick it on your sign and paint. Whereas if you create your own stencil, you need to make sure that your sizing lines up, you peel out all the letters, getting the transfer tape on just right. It is a lot more work, so buying a stencil off of Etsy does not sound too bad. Now, I know this is all about budget-friendly fall decor, and don't worry, Etsy has some really affordable options. I'm going to go ahead and share a few options that I found on the screen here, just so you can see what I'm talking about, and also I'll make sure to link these ones down below in my description box. But spending $5 to $10 extra to buy a stencil is a lot cheaper than going out and buying a Cricut machine. If it's something that you've been wanting, then I say go for it. I absolutely love this first machine and cannot wait to tackle more and more projects. But if you guys decided to purchase a stencil from Etsy, I just want to say to be careful, read the description box, do your research, and make sure you are purchasing an actual stencil that they're going to be shipping to you and not just like a PDF copy that they're going to send to your email, because if they do that, then you're going to need a Cricut to cut it out. So just be a little bit careful or cautious when purchasing a stencil. Some Etsy shops also do allow you to create a custom stencil. So if you have something in mind or you really like one of the signs I shared today, I have no problem with you taking a screenshot and messaging this Etsy seller or whatever Etsy seller you find that does create custom ones and just telling them that's what you want. Now, if you have a Cricut, there is going to be one extra step here, and that is to peel off all the letters and the designs, so we are left with only the stencil. I will say if you choose a cursive font or something a little more dainty than those bulk letters, it will take a little bit of patience. So once you have all the letters out, you can put on a piece of transfer paper. So we should be at the point where if you made a stencil or if you purchased one off Etsy, this is where we start applying it to the sign. I am very precise and I like things to be perfect and centered. So if you want to eyeball it, go right ahead. I personally measured it out and just made sure I found the center. Once I get it where I want it, I'm gonna go ahead and slowly start to peel off the white backing. And I'm going to do this little by little. I am using the scraper that came with the Cricut machine just to smooth out any air bubbles. If you don't have a Cricut machine or don't have one of those scrapers, that is perfectly fine. You can also find something else around your home that you could use, like a credit card. Once you get your stencil on, it is time to paint. You can use whatever paintbrush you have on hand. Just make sure that your letters do not have any gaps or air bubbles. Otherwise, the paint will bleed and you will not have clean lines. I did make this mistake on a sign and I ruined it and I had to start all over. So learn from my mistakes. I will say I did a letter and I painted it and I pulled back the stencil just to make sure before I continued on because that would have been a huge bummer. But while I'm doing this, so I guess it's the second sign I made that actually turned out. So that sign, I didn't actually paint the letters on. I used a piece of chalk and I traced out the letters of the stencil. And although I love the look and I'm so happy I did it, I am a little nervous that it's not going to last or it's going to smear off or something's going to happen to it when fall is over and it needs to be stored somewhere because again, it's just chalk. It's not actually paint. So it will smear and rub off if it hits anything or bumps anything. I definitely love the look of the chalk a little bit better. I think it's more real. It is the exact look that I was going for, but I don't know if that outweighs my nerves for if it will actually last. Once everything is dry, you can go ahead and decide if you want a second layer on the letters or not. I opted out because I like the look as is. It almost gives it that chalk look because it is not perfect. Also, be prepared for a few touch-ups. The stencil will likely take up a bit of the paint, but if you're looking for something like a little bit of a farmhouse sign like I am, I did not touch anything up. I actually wished it would have pulled up a little bit more just to give it that edgy and rustic look. And once your stencil is off, if you want to add a little more depth, I did take a piece of chalk and I ran it all over the board, even over the painted letters. Again, just make sure your letters are dry before you remove the stencil. And once you get enough chalk on your board, take a piece of paper towel or a cloth of some sort and just buff it out. If you like the look of the chalk, you can just leave it as is, but I wanted a more of, I guess you could say, muted look, so I decided to rub it out. And there you have it, a budget-friendly, do-it-yourself farmhouse fall sign. I really hope my step-by-step process was easy to follow, and I hope it gave you all lots of great ideas and inspiration to make your own homemade farmhouse fall signs. If you do decide to make one, I would love it if you would share it with me over on Instagram. And if you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed to my channel. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, you guys.